In this video, we are going to talk about the front of the map, right, of Thames Square. So, so far we've talked about the back of the map, right, the outline of the map, and the hiding spots near Hunter Spawn. But the only spots we really have to go over are the ones that are in the front of the map, right, like this big apartment building right here. But in this video, we're actually going to be focusing on these tents that are in the front of the map over here. Like, we'll start off with the note block stack, right, the TNTs, the pumpkins, right, furnaces, and we'll head all the way over there to that mushroom tent over there, the blue tent over there. That's basically what we're doing in this video. Right, so starting with the note block stack, right, all the way over here. Right, it turns out that sometimes you'll actually see note blocks hiding behind the stack, like either right here in this spot or this slot right here. Right, so either one of these two spots, you could see a note block hiding in. So basically, it's just those two spots. Right. Now, it is also possible to see like two note blocks on top of each other, like in this specific spot. Right, you might see two note blocks on top of each other right here as well. Right, so if you ever see two note blocks on top of each other like that, it's actually going to be fake. Right? But also, those spots can easily be replaced with a flower pot, like a flower pot behind the stack right here or right here. So either one of those two spots can happen. Or again, a flower pot on top of this block or a flower pot on top of this block. Right? Those are the typical spots you'll see for hiders in this note block stack. Right? Usually it's going to be behind the stack, right? One of those two spots. And that's basically it for the note blocks. Right, next we move on to the TNT tent. So TNTs also actually has a flower pot with it, right? But I'm not worried about the flower pot. Let's just focus on the TNTs. Right? The most typical spot to find a TNT is a TNT in this slot right here. So if you do see a TNT in this slot, it's fake. So as you can see, 5 TNTs in a row, it looks like, right? That's fake. It is possible to see a TNT on this side like this. So that's possible. Right? 2 TNTs in a row like this. Those would also be considered fake. Or if you see a cube of TNTs like this, right? Looks sort of like this, that would also be fake. Those are typically the spots you see with the TNTs. Again, you could find flower pots though, right? Just like in the note block stack. Right? Flower pot here, right? Flower pot here is also possible. Right? The only real flower pot that's over here is this one. Another thing you might have noticed is that there's chickens over here. So many times chickens will fall down to the bottom, right? Like that one just did. Right? And that doesn't actually refer to the chickens that are over here, I don't think. Right? Those are separate chickens. Right? There's 5 chickens over here, right? But the chickens on the left side over there are a complete other set of chickens. Right? I don't know how many there are. Right, because I don't really care about the numbers of chickens over here, but they tend to fall down under here, like this one did, and sometimes you'll find fake ones. So, right. So, next we got the pumpkin stack. Right, for the pumpkin stack, right. Notice basically the overall structure of it. Right? You have a staircase of 3 pumpkins on this side, and a staircase of 3 pumpkins on the other side. It basically sort of forms an isosceles triangle with those pumpkins. Right, as you can kind of notice. Right, so you should never see that structure disturbed, like this or this. Right, something like that would disturb the triangular structure of it. I just say the word triangular, that felt great. Alright, but if you see 3 pumpkins in a row like this, right, that would be fake. Right, square pumpkins, that would be fake. Right, something like that would be considered fake. Another thing is that there is actually 1 pumpkin behind the stack. So if you do see 2 pumpkins, right, they're facing the same direction, like that, or like that, would be fake. 2 pumpkins on top of each other would also be fake. Right, so just like that, right? Just like that. That's basically it for the pumpkins, right? Right. So next we got the furnaces. Right? Furnaces are pretty easy. Right, furnace, this is probably the typical spot to find a furnace. Right? Either right here, right? Or right here. So either one of those 2 spots. So pretty easy for the furnaces. It's not really common to find hiders there. Interesting how there's an anvil in the ground. Turns out infestors don't usually infest in that though. I think I've only seen it like once or twice. Alright, so it's not that common. Now we're heading all the way over here. These bookshelves, like many of the bookshelves we've seen, they've all had slabs on them. Right? Not every single bookshelf pile, obviously, but there were two in particular that actually had slabs on it. And this is the third one that has slabs on it. So if you ever see a bookshelf that doesn't have slabs on it, like for instance, if there's a bookshelf right here, it doesn't have a slab on top of it, so it's fake, right? Either here or right here, right? One of those two spots. I might also see a flower pot in this hole as well, so keep that in mind. Great, so next we're going to, also a flower pot right here. I should have mentioned this one. But basically, stuff like that is also a possibility. Right, that's basically it. So next we have the, this is like the last thing we're going to look at, is this mushroom area. Obviously you can't even morph into a mushroom, right? But flower pots you can, so it's really just flower pots you got to focus on right here. Right, behind the stack, a flower pot could be in either one of these two spots, like either right here or right here. Right, so those are the two spots in the back you got to focus on. You can also see a flower pot on top of this mushroom, like this, or on top of the mushroom on the other side, right? Right here, so that's also possible. Right, you should see a flower pot in this hole or on top of any of these three mushrooms. Right, that's really all you got to focus on.